Greetings, Beachstock Nation. Two things had to have happened before the poem I'm about to read could have been written. The first is context, the second is a request. For context, we have these drawings, which are part of a series called The Yellow Stickee Diary of a Mad Secretary. And this series was done while I was working a series of temp jobs in St. Louis, Missouri, between about 1994 and 2015, off and on, until I got my perm job in 2015, which, ended because of the pandemic. And I was in a number of group shows, and at one of them, I showed a grouping of some of the originals with a not for sale sign. And this young man approached me. He was quite agitated, and he said, "I can't believe you're showing your doodles." And I don't remember what I said to him, but I remember thinking, believe it, dude, and excuse me for living. Anyway, I have to thank that young man because his odd moral outrage over the Yellow Stickee Diary just confirmed that for me that I was on the right path. So here we are, 2003. I'm beginning to use label maker scraps, drawing on them with a Sharpie, and then I've collaged them onto 3 stickies. She's saying, making an effort to keep it together. Words to live by. 2004. If I had the tools, I could do the job, and if you want me, I'll be at the copier. That is some attitude, Missy. And 2014, ... she said. So the request came in 2018. I emailed my friend, Jim Daniels. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a great poet, punching out and places everyone. Are 2 of my favorite books of poems by him from back in the day when he still lived in Michigan. And I knew him through the Poetry Resource Center, their annual Michigan Poetry Fest. And Daniels also has co-edited American Poetry, The Next Generation, Respect the Poetry of Detroit Music, and edited Letters to America, Contemporary American Poetry on Race. Check them out. Anyway, I wrote that I was working on projects, and one of them would be short stories accompanied by excerpts from the Yellow Stickee Diary. And he wrote back and said, if you have any poems about the Mad Secretary, send them my way, because I'm involved with this labor history journal, and they allow me to choose 1 poem per issue about work. I had a mild freak out because I didn't have any poems at the time about work, but I did carry around a folder of notes, and found a note on lined yellow sticky paper, which was an incident report, and that incident is incorporated in the beginning of the poem, which was published in Labor Studies in Working Class History, the only academic journal which will feature my work. Meditation, temporary worker, temporarily employed. He calls, abruptly asks for the temp. Something was supposed to have happened, and since it had not, he is put out, ticked off, time is money, and all that. He, the president, the vice president, CEO, the director, the manager, one of the ones in charge, She, a temporary receptionist or administrative assistant or executive assistant, one of the ones who can be asked to do anything within or without reason. Time passes, time expands, time contracts, time stands still. A permanent secretary relays the message to the temp using his words, conveys awareness of his obliviousness with her voice, and with the expression on her face says silently, "Yes, I know. Time expands, time passes. He doesn't know my name, just says the temp. After all, it's efficient. It's the point across. Time is money and all that. After all, he knows and I know I won't be here for long. Here, now, he doesn't know my name because next month or next week or tomorrow or 1 minute from now, I could be riding home on the ever uproarious bus, and because I hear pre-recorded announcements below squealing machinery, because I hear above the low vibrating commotion of the engine chattering passengers, some talking to their devices, others to each other, because my ears are tuned to this everyday din, I don't hear the ringtone of my cell phone. Later, I listen to the voicemail. Today's your last day. The client requested that you not come back. Someone from our office will pick up your things. I won't be here for long. Isn't that what they say? What's in a name anyway? Here, now, he doesn't know my name because next week or next month or tomorrow or 1 minute from now, I could be summoned to an office and told, this is a bad fit. Handed a tissue, asked to get my things, and I will leave as quietly as possible, eyes down, very quick steps away. If a temp exits an office and no one is around to hear her, does she make a sound? Here, now, he doesn't know my name. What's in a name, anyway? The temp is what I am called. The temp is what I am. Time contracts, time expands. Of course, she is as temporary as this paper on which she writes hurried notes, quotes, lyrics, dreams, half poems, lists, and or dictation from the inside of her head, describing the particular absurdity of this particular moment. Of course, words she writes may be struck through, blacked out, obscured. Of course, words she writes may be lost, even to herself. Of course, the words she writes on this piece of paper may never be word processed, let alone typeset, never be published in an online journal, let alone a book. Of course, the words she writes on this piece of paper may end up filed and forgotten in an unmarked folder, added to an accumulation of unmarked folders, making clutter on a bed or a chair or a table, or worst case scenario, concealed in chaos, hidden in scattered, fluttering piles of papers on the floor. There are so many different ways for words to disappear. Time passes, time stands still. Now, in her mind, the temp is capitalized, appears in bold italic, accessorized with an exclamation point. Now, on this temporary assignment at this temporary desk, the event of someone passing by requires her to act. So she stage whispers with sarcastic cheeriness, "Hi, it's the temp." In fact, she says it with some regularity as an inside joke, and like all good jokes, repetition multiplies the hilarity. "Hi, it's the temp." 4 beats which she repeats to entertain. "Hi, it's the temp." 4 beats which she repeats to pass the time. Time stands still, time contracts, time expands, time passes. What's in a name? That which he calls the temp. Any other name has had enough. He doesn't know her name. That which he calls the temp instead of her real name now refuses to be derided, insulted, belittled, ridiculed by a president, a vice president, a CEO, a director, a manager of a corporation, a company, a firm, a growing concern. Money passes, money expands, money contracts, money stands still. What's in a name? That which we call the corporation, the company, the firm, the growing concern orders her services. Temporarily, of course, money is time and all that. When the temp appears on the scene, it's a new day. When the temp appears on the scene, she checks things out. When the temp appears on the scene, she will fit in or not, and she will do as she is told or not. I won't be here for long. Isn't that what she thinks? The temp is what I am called temporarily. The temp is not who I am. Isn't that what she thinks? And because money is time after all, and we know what's in a name, we are not surprised when by any other name that which we call corporation, company, firm, growing concern wills itself to operate indefinitely, wills itself not to know that it too is temporary. Thanks for listening. Signing off, Beachstock Nation. Thank you.